Hello and welcome to Supreme Command Forge Alliance Forever. Today we have two of the best players in Forge Alliance. We have two Master Race, otherwise known as Petric Pawns, in the blue Cybern on the top, and in the bottom Zock in the red Cybern in the bottom. So Cyber Mirror feels like 2016. The map is X6 1v1. X6 was put into the ladder map pool and people wanted some changes to it. People want a lot of changes to a lot of things, but Mad Mozart decided he would actually do it. So we got this new version which has less mexes, less annoying rocks, but still a couple just to give you that early mass boost that everyone likes. So the map has been improved by Mozart, and this is what's on the ladder now. Still not the prettiest map or anything. Don't think he did anything with decals and height map and stuff, I'm not sure. Did change the mid base so there's no T2 arties. There are still PDs and some anti-air. So a bit of master grab, but it's kind of difficult to take. So this map has basically been played wrong or incorrectly by vast majority of players. If we say like the second tier of players, so these guys are both top tier players, but second tier people have not been making transport rushes, and even I did not make transport rush on this map until I saw this match, and we will see both players rush a transport. As you can see, lots of PGens and second air. Only NGs coming out so far for both players. Expanding, grab the mexes, do some land spam. If we see, have the transport queued up, and then we have a bomber. No inti coming out until after the bomber. So that's normally what you do. You would almost always make two scouts after your transport, so you can scout for your opponent's transport. One scout is not really enough. You need two to reliably spot where the enemy transport is going. Petric isn't too worried about where Zock is sending his transport. He has a mantis that is sitting in his base, so that means he's going to drop this mantis. Otherwise it would be running down here trying to raid or something. Yeah, the problem with raiding is that it's 20x20 map, so it's going to take you a long time to get to the opposing side of the map. So here's the transport. It's only 3 NGs and a mantis, and it's heading to this side. We look at Zock, 3 NGs dropping to the same position, it seems like, and his scout is looking to see what's going on. I don't think he saw this transport. Factory going up first, and this mantis will win. So, oh, he doesn't finish the factory either. Even if he did, he could capture it or reclaim it with these NGs, or just make a PD and kill it that way. So this is a huge advantage for Petric already, but Zock is quite quickly dropping to this other expansion. And he has a bomber incoming. How many? Oh, just the one kill so far, but the factory's already up, so it's quite secure. That's a good bomb though. That's gonna slow Petric down quite a lot. Here we have 4 NGs. They're not doing anything yet. These mantis don't know there's NGs here. Oh, they should definitely be moving into this position, but it looks like he's not moving that way. And he's actually losing a couple of units to T2 PD. That's unfortunate. Up here, this NG narrowly escapes. Actually took damage. This guy has 2 kills as well. I believe he took out a Mantis and probably a Scout. Here we have a PD. 1.5 factories. This Petric spots that and decides he doesn't want to drop there. Up here we have a few more NGs coming out of this factory, and he'll probably start some land spam here. We have 2 transports. This one was being put to use, but this one is kind of idle. Nothing to drop. He needs the NGs in his base to for their build power, basically. Interesting that both commanders are staying in their base. See Zock just reclaiming a P-gen that he doesn't need. Can't balance your power that way. He was probably just halfway done building that P-gen and decided he didn't need it. That's good eco management. Here we have 3 factories up. It's good to put factories around your PD. Blocks a lot of shots. Makes it harder to get to the PD and attack it. Over here, oh, what the so Zock must have dropped those 5 NGs. I don't know about the Mantis, they probably just ran up from this bottom base, but those 5 NGs had to have been dropped right into the middle. No units, it seems. And he rushed a PD and everything is now dead. T1 turret will go up. And unfortunately he's not going to actually have any NGs left. The Jester took care of the NGs. So it's not a total disaster for Petric, but it's a pretty big disaster. PD in this position, definitely want PDs in these side expansions. And we're probably going to see a bit of land spam from the right hand side as well. So this looks good for Zock so far. He's killed this expansion and made it very difficult to actually take back, defended from air and land. And he has some spam on this side as well. On the bottom he has less spam, much less units, but he still has been getting mass from these mexes for most of the game. Quite bad that he doesn't have this though. These 3 mexes are lost, and these 2, which are kind of part of this expansion, he will not be able to take. Another transport dies. Looks like he dropped these NGs here. He's gonna build his opponent's hydro. That's cheeky. Another transport coming up, so we're seeing a lot of transports, a lot of drops. And that's how it should be on a map this size. Just walking everywhere is not efficient, it's just far too slow. I would have definitely thought that we would see commanders move outside the base and maybe walk to these expansions. And definitely get there in a good time, but I guess they're kind of afraid of being sniped, perhaps. It looks like Petric can take this. It's unfortunate he doesn't have many arties to really do a lot of damage to the factories and also take out this PD, but he has a couple, and he has a factory where he can make some quite quickly. And he has a lot more Mantis, so this looks like it will die. Over here, this PD getting taken out. PD is good, but you always need some units to support him. In this case, he has a Jester supporting him. This NG was assisting the factory, so it started rebuilding the factory when it died. A feature that was introduced a few patches ago that probably no one knows about. Just a PSA, if you assist something with NGs or SCUs and stuff and it gets destroyed, they will rebuild it if they are capable of it, so it's quite useful in late game mostly, I think, when you have shields and stuff. You can just have SCUs assist them, but also useful for NGs defending PD. Like if you have one Medusa attacking a PD and you have one engineer assisting that PD, the PD will never die. Although the NG could well die to the Medusa because it just misses so much. T2 air for both players. It's generally more preferable to get T2 air than T2 land on a map this size because, well, you can do a lot more damage with air. Usually, well, you can have an impact faster with air units, and T2 air is much cheaper in mass. So you need to get T2 PGen pretty quick on maps that are much larger like this because you're probably going to be making mexes and stuff, and so T2 PGen is just more efficient than constantly spamming T1 PGens. You can see the cost is 630 mass, 12,000 power, rather than basically double or almost double the mass cost and maybe a quarter less power for T2 land. So units moving in, they maybe have some chance. If there weren't reinforcements coming from the bottom, he would probably be able to take out these factories, or at least one of them. But looks like he's going to be denied. Zock has got the mexes here. He has done good raiding to deny these 3 mexes. Hasn't managed to break this. The Jester defended. He's regained this, but it looks like he doesn't have enough units to hold it. This would probably die. Still nice. The raiding is okay here, but he actually has left a huge amount of reclaim relative to the damage he's done. I mean, you can see so much mass here, and he basically killed a couple of mexes and caused more units from the bottom to go to the top, which is not really that advantageous at all, because this is under no danger for Petric from T1 land. Also a lot of mass here for him to grab, and he's redropping here in these expansions to take them back much faster. That's really a nice play. It looks like this has been spotted somehow. Not sure how it was spotted, but it is gonna die. There's just a couple of NGs on there. Still, it is painful to lose T1 transports. They're the most expensive T1 unit. 120 mass. Actually, they're not the most expensive, but they're pretty close. Jesters are more expensive. They're kind of a weird T1 unit though. Kind of almost tier 2. Pretty much in their cost and their how they're used. So this is pushed back by the T2 air. Some gunships out for Zock. Oh, this is pretty bad. Petric just flew his air force over all these T1 anti-airs in mid. There's 5 of them, 6. So that's quite a lot of damage he sustained here. A lot of damaged inties, and even lost a couple, I think, on the way over. Looking at reclaim, Petric was only just slightly ahead in reclaim. They were pretty much even, but now he has a significant lead, 2k mass in reclaim ahead of Zock. T2 air factory's up. I do like adding more build power to your air factory by just upgrading it to T2 support, and at any time you want, you can switch into offensive air units much more effectively when the opportunity arises, and also you just need less engineers in your base. You just have much more build power in the factory to spam inties. So definitely recommend not just leaving yourself on one T2 HQ and just having T1 air factories all over. Eco-wise, you can see quite a few mexes. We have one upgrading here, giving adjacency to all these factories. Although T2 adjacency isn't hugely better than T1 adjacency. T1 adjacency is pretty epic. It's just so much better than no adjacency. You can find the exact figures on the wiki. So we got 6, 7 T2 mexes for Petric. 1, 2, 3. Gonna have a fourth here. 5, 6. So 6 for Zock. Petric also has some surrounded. This one partially, this one fully, which is almost another T2 mex. Pretty much. You can count a storage mex as kind of 2 T2 mexes. More or less. More raiding being attempted. It's really difficult to stop raids in these outside expansions. You probably should just spam walls and stuff. There's just so much open space, you can run anywhere. And also there's really annoying terrain, like you can't really see the hills from above. This doesn't really look that hilly, but if you're placing a PD you can really have a terrible placement, it'll just shoot the ground a lot. So careful of that. We see Medusa playing anti-air, killing or stunning some renegades. 6 kills on this guy. You can see how effective they are versus units, just regularly hitting 2, 3, 4, 5 units at a time. They do have less DPS than other gunships, but the AoE is just very nice versus units, and also it allows you to kill storage mexes a bit better. You'll kill the storages as well as the mechs. It's not really a huge factor though. So you can see how the meta is just kind of a lot of T1 land now since the T2 land nerf. We have a huge amount of interceptors for Zock, and it looks like he's gonna win air here. Let's just take a look at the micro. Petric not microing, that's probably stop micro, where he just makes contact pretty much with the enemy and then just presses escape or just stop and lets them micro themselves. Zock just did a bit of micro and then he realized he had a huge advantage after that, and then he just puts it on patrol because it doesn't really matter what he does at that point. Can out micro someone with double your inties. Maybe you can with ASF if you're a god, but you just can't really do it with inties. So gunships out for Petric as well. T2 land here, got some flax coming out because he has lost air, so we'll probably see flax, T1 anti-airs. These turrets, these T1 stationary turrets are very useful. Interesting place for a T2 P-gen. Guess if he shields the T2 P-gen, he can also be shielding the mexes. He kind of didn't place it properly for that, but well. Guess that's just where the T2 NG was. That's a torpedo bomber, probably a misclick there. This mex is halfway to T2, that's quite painful to lose. And it's actually still alive. So a lot of battles all over the place because we haven't seen huge tech rushing. It's been mostly on T1 for most of the game, and then we've gone to just T2 air and still on T1 land. So that means there's a lot of units around, a lot of things to try and deal with, while also managing your eco. So we constantly have battles down here. We can see this is raided. You can see here this is getting raided now by gunships. Up the top we've seen multiple raids here. Quite a bit of mass here to grab. Is that a T2 mex? It was a T2 mex that got killed. This turret is gonna claim some victims, but oh, it just vetted. Okay, it does go down just at the last second, but all the gunships are dead in this position. This poor Rhino is not going to make it out. So it's difficult. It doesn't look like this can be held at all. This T2 factory should be destroyed. Zock is spending a lot of time over some anti-airs. Oh my goodness. 4 kills, 4 vets. That's pretty cool. But these gunships should be able to kill everything here. And these rhinos, there's just too many T1 units, too many Mantis and Medusa, that this is kind of fucked. And up the top, well, there's an army here, but nothing too significant. On the right, we just see mostly a stalemate. Some units on either side. Not much going on. Eco-wise, well, actually, let's take a look here. We have T2 land, and we're going T3 land for Zock. There's another T2 mechs on the way as well. You can see there's not much TMD. There's basically no need for it on this map because distance is just too huge. If we look the range of TML, you'd have to be here to TML the base. So you can TML from one expansion to the other basically. So from here to here, here to here in this hexagon. But that's about as far as it goes. So you don't need any TMD or anything. Don't waste your mass on it unless there's a real threat. But this T3 land is quite dangerous. We just have T2 land, and there's a lot of T1 land heading this way. I think he should be able to stop this. The gunship will go down quite quickly to these Sky Slammers. There he goes. And he needs to be careful that he micros his rhinos correctly and doesn't allow himself to get overrun. And also doesn't allow the rhinos to get stunned by the Medusa, which is really deadly to them. The faster firing a unit is, the more painful stun is, so a Percy doesn't really mind being stunned because it still has a 4-second reload. A rhino that fires so quickly loses a huge amount of damage when it gets stunned. Same with say a brick. So now we have a lot of map control for Zock. He's gradually managed to gain it back by winning air, doing raiding, and then having enough T1 spam that the T2 that Petric switched into is basically only now going to yield him some advantage. When he has a significant number of them. The first T2 units he got, well, they take a while to get from his T2 factory down to here, and then when he made this T2 factory, it just got killed quite quickly. He only got a few rhinos out of it, and they weren't able to do enough versus the T1 spam. So Zock has regained map control while he made that switch to T2. But now Zock is on T3 land, and that's extremely dangerous. So much more effective than T2 land. And we've got loyalists being spammed out of it. Now he also has T2 air, so he should expect drops of T3 land. It's how to really make it extremely effective. Oh, this guy could kill so many engineers. It's another advantage of the Renegade versus build power. It's, well, it just kills so many engies so fast and vets off them, but it looks like he's just auto attack. He hasn't actually been microing that at all. Has Petric seen T3 land? He should have seen T3 land. Do we see... well, it's on his radar, but I'm not convinced he's actually seen it. Because if he had, I'm sure he would be making T3 land upgrade right now. He hasn't actually come into contact with any T3 land units yet. Usually you can't miss it when you hear a loyalist killing your T2 with ease, or even a brick. Eco-wise, it's doing nicely. Got 10 mexes, many of them storage. Zock has got his patented T2 radars up, giving him great coverage over Petric's territory and his own territory. In terms of T2 mexes, we got 9, most storaged, and this is a huge air fight. 81 interceptors. Not all of them in the fight for Petric or for Zock. It looks like Petric was not really microing. Yeah, he's just got attack move and he has far less now. I wonder what the numbers were initially. He probably did have less anyway. But Zock was definitely microing there. And it can have a big impact. You can definitely make the most of your inties. Even if you can't win a fight, you can definitely get a lot of kills. And now Zock going for Ras. Definitely powerful choice on such a large map. And he knows that. Oh, still no T3 land switch from Petric. I'm sure he hadn't seen that T3 land, and it still hasn't actually done anything. I don't think Zock has actually used any of his T3 land units yet. Oh, this radar needs to die. But 8 loyalists out. That's really dangerous, and there's no air cover to stop them. And there's only T2 units to go against them, and they're actually dying to PDs in mid. Oh, that's sad. That's painful. And there's a brick. There's a T3 support factory in this expansion. Oh god. Now he has to realize that this is really bad. Wow, T3 mechs for Petric. No Ras from him. And yeah, we've no such T3 mechs from Zock. He's just making Ras. Ras was nerfed. You lose basically 1k power and income compared to before the patch. Oh, look at these. You can just see how completely annihilate. Obviously there's much more mass of T3 units here, but it's just going to be able to run over this. 2 bricks. Loyalists on the bottom. You can see they have a really nice range, and kind of shooting the ground there though. Even a Corsair's out. And Petric is making T3 now. He doesn't have much build power in this area, so he needs to... Well, it's hard to know what he needs to do to actually save this. Looks pretty bad for him. Oh, he's actually going to T3 air. Doesn't have Ras himself, and he doesn't really have enough power income to make strats or anything. So I guess he did it to get a T3 NG out. PDs are a good idea. They can be quite good versus loyalists. You can see there they shot the back wall for a huge amount of time, but there's just so much T3 here. You can't deal with it. Zock's Ras. Oh yeah, the build time is also doubled for Ras, so you don't need to... Much easier to balance with your ACU. He doesn't use like 1,000,000 power when you try and start it, and have to pause it and assist with NGs and stuff. Just kind of remove that kind of dumb element. Yeah, bricks just walking through the water, easily kill anything in the expansion. And that's some T2 mexes that are gonna die. Up here, Yeah, this guy already has vet, so these two gunships are going to take so long to kill him. You can probably just walk up there and kill everything. He's also running his loyalists towards the T3 HQ, or the T2 HQ at the minute. These PDs, oh my god, the terrain is just awful. Do we have RAS yet? Not quite. Still just making a hell of a lot of Corsairs. That's a lot of Corsairs. These gunships are actually stopping the they're stopping the loyalists, but this is already dead, and this and all of this stuff is gonna die. You can see two gunships just take so long to kill a T3 tank. What are these Corsairs doing? That looks, well, it looks very ominous for Petric. He's not actually under a shield. That's definitely a snipe. Everything up here is dead, so there's no hope he's gonna be able to actually spot it in time. Maybe you should aim for this radar just to make sure, but Petric's there is quite split. Zock moves in to take out this chunk of it. You can see another portion here and a lot more back here, which is quite dangerous with your air. Have it split, so now he brings it back together. He has lost some portion of it though. And this brick from the side now moving up. This guy finally dies after killing everything around here, but here's some Corsairs, and Petric does not know they're there at all. T3 land is finished. He's making some loyalists. And here come the Corsairs. Petric needs to... he doesn't need to dodge. That is... oh, this guy only got one Corsair on it. But that's... our income. 1.3k. GG. Nice way to end it. Killed almost all the T2 gens in one pass, and yeah, T3 land basically. Petric, I think he just didn't spot that T3 land was done, and then Zock had a lot of T3 land units that he didn't use for quite a while. He had like maybe 6, 7, 8 loyalists, and they hadn't actually fought anything, so Petric still had no idea. Never heard them shooting or anything. So he was stuck on T2, and then losing air, that definitely set him back. And yeah, this T3 support factory helped a lot, getting bricks out and killing basically everything. Just need so many gunships to actually kill T3 land units that are killing your expansions and stuff. It's so difficult to get enough damage together, kill them before they kill enough stuff that they're pretty much worth it. That is a big problem. So, you know, you might think I'll do T2 air to counter T3 land, but it just takes so long to kill them. That's why Corsairs are better for anti-T3. They're more expensive, but they have a good alpha, and if you have a lot of them together, then you can actually take out T3 land quickly enough. Done it a few times where you just have Corsairs that just kill a drop as it lands, which is quite nice. But yeah, just not having T3 land himself is what cost Petric here. He didn't see it, so he thought, well, I can make T3 mechs, and it is a very pretty thing, but everything else died to bricks and loyalists, so it wasn't worth much in the end. Still a really nice game. A lot of attention needed. A lot of T1 land. It's really good to see a lot of T1 land where you think, I have a bit of mass. will I make the switch up to T2 land, or will I just add more T1 factories and get more units out there? Usually, in this case, you actually want more T1 land, which is fun. You have more to actually do, more units to handle and utilize around the map. So it's quite interesting. Almost had another T3 mechs. Unfortunately, he had no shields around his base to protect his P-gens. But I don't think it mattered at the end. It was kind of, Zock can finish it however he wants. He had more of everything. More map control, more air, and a lot more T3 land, so just a bit inevitable for the last 5 minutes probably. Still a great game, and definitely you should watch and learn from this if you want to know how to play this map. And oh, so there's a brick drop on the way. So anyway, thanks for watching, and GG.